Hey, did you know that this is part 3 of a 3-part series? So you might want to check out the other 2 videos first. Just saying.
The kart racer. It's been one of gaming's most enduring genres and a go-to template to make games based on existing IPs. Ever since Mario went a-karting with his friends and foes, it's been pretty ubiquitous, for better or for worse. And so it wasn't long before South Park tried their hand. And honestly, this is a better place for the series than either first-person shooters or trivia games, so we're on the right track. Sorry. Is this a case of third time's the charm? Well, today I'm taking a look at South Park Rally for the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation, and sweet crunchy Christ, I hope so.
This time around, Iguana Entertainment is out of the picture in favor of Tantalus Interactive. They're an Australian development studio which is responsible for porting games like Wipeout to the Sega Saturn, a whole slew of licensed games for handheld systems, and most recently they assisted Nintendo with The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD for the Wii U. Oh, and Funky Barn. They made Funky Barn. Just look at that goddamn picture. South Park Rally contains 3 main modes of play. You have Championship, Arcade, and Multiplayer. But the latter 2 are completely irrelevant until you unlock the tracks in Championship. I mean, I feel pretty bad for anyone who wanted to play this thing multiplayer right out of the box. So, Championship mode it is. This time around, there's actually a rather large roster of characters to choose from, most of whom are locked. And that's fine, because I don't generally mind unlocking characters in these type of games. But as usual, we'll come back to that. The premise here is that the mayor of South Park has decreed that the whole town is to hold something called Rally Days. So what exactly are Rally Days and why are they rallying? I have no idea. There's never any reason given other than because Rally Days. And honestly, I don't really need a story in my racing game, but it might be better that they cut it out entirely, because otherwise it just calls attention to how lame it is. It quickly becomes apparent from the start of the first stage that there is something horribly wrong here. First, the design of the track is wildly unintuitive. You see, in good racing games, the tracks tend to loop around in such a way that it's easy to follow and know where you need to go. And while there may be shortcuts or multiple ways to finish a track, generally they tend to be pretty straightforward, and the difficulty comes from using the game mechanics to race more efficiently.
Fun.
However, in South Park Rally, they decided to go with scattered checkpoints rather than your traditional finish line style of track, because what we really needed was an avant-garde approach to the genre. Note to game designers, sometimes the tried and true templates exist for a reason. It's almost as though they forgot that they were making a kart racer halfway through building the track. Hey, you see that thing up there that kinda looks like a finish line? Well, it's not. And you know, having to worry about which direction my next checkpoint is located really takes away from the racing and maneuvering, which should be the primary focus of your racing game. Stage 2 is largely the same, except it has you pick up a trophy and carry it across the same 4 checkpoints in order. The progress does not reset, however, so, for example, if a computer player carries the trophy across checkpoints 1 through 3, and then I steal it and make it over checkpoint 4, I still win. And of course there's just one trophy, so the stage quickly becomes a chaotic mess. It's really not a great idea to begin with, and the problems are only compounded by the subpar controls and shitty track design. I mean, the last level was obnoxious enough, but now you have to acquire a trophy before you can hit any of the checkpoints? But of course you lose it, or you hit some bullshit roadblock that sends you flying, and then one of the doofus AI characters grabs it while your ass over elbows a whole county over, so now you need to find the shit biscuit who took your trophy and then hit a moving target in order to grab it. But now it's off in a corner being fought over by every other character, and the controls make this far worse than it already sounds. And you're way off track now if you even manage to get the trophy back, and then the train comes and oh my god, I don't want to play this anymore! Stage 3 gives everyone mad cow disease.
Really?
And in order to win, you need to pick up and hold on to a cure item that causes your disease percentage to drop over time. And the first person to reach 0 wins the race. Level? Event.
Are you starting to notice a pattern here? There are too many ideas they just try to shove into this thing, and it becomes bloated as a result.
And listen, I get that there are other styles of gameplay in car-based games. You have your destruction derbies and your twisted metals, and hell, even Mario Kart has a battle mode. But here, it just feels slapdash. First, make sure your game plays alright before you pack it full of mad cow disease. And some of the levels are like weirdly holiday themed, because I guess it's supposed to take place over a 1-year period. For example, stage 4 is based on Valentine's Day, where you have to hit everyone else with Cupid's arrows. It sucks. It really sucks.
And it just goes on like this. It's a linear progression through the stages, which becomes frustrating due to the crap controls, spastic AI, and limited continue tokens. You only get about 5 to start.
And each time you retry a race, you lose a token. Lose them all, and you have to start over from the very first stage. You can pick up more along the way, but they're placed in awkward spots, and even then it doesn't remedy the inherent problem of having limited attempts. Yeah, you can save along the way, but that only seems to save what you've unlocked and not your progress through Championship. So if you're like me and you decide to go save your game after winning a level, grab a bite to eat, come back and attempt to load your progress, it's back to race 1 for you, fucko! Now let's compare that to other racing games of the time. In Crash Team Racing, there's a map that allows you to choose levels at your own leisure. If you lose, you can go ahead and retry. And now, I'm not saying that all racing games should adopt this, but for one like this, I think that sort of approach makes a whole lot of sense. The difficulty should come from a reasonable challenge, not struggling to keep your continues before they boot you back to the start like fucking Sisyphus. This is a home console game, fellas. We're not paying by the quarter, so freedom will only enhance the experience. There are Mario Kart-style item pickups, but they're one of the most bewildering aspects of the entire game. Which was your favorite pickup? The prostitute that never seems to do anything, or the underpants gnomes that don't seem to do anything? In a good kart game, if the use isn't readily apparent by just looking at the item, you should be able to ascertain what it does by just using it a couple of times. Hey, these mushrooms act like speed boosts. If you drop these chemical vials behind you, other racers might run into them. What the hell do you think that does?
Even after using it, I'm not entirely sure.
As I previously stated, you unlock tracks by completing them in Championship mode. Some of the characters are unlocked similarly. For example, you unlock Jesus by completing the Christmas race, and you can unlock Stan's grandpa by beating the Halloween race. But then they have you unlock Bebe by losing on the Mad Cow stage without ever picking up the cure item.
So I win by not playing. That's strangely appropriate.
The graphics are really average for the Nintendo 64. They're nothing to write home about and not really bad enough to rag on either. They're just kinda there. Although, what the hell is up with those portraits? Is that supposed to be Mr. Mackey? Okay. The sound is a bit better, I guess. As usual, the voice clips are muffled from being compressed to hell, but in terms of the music, I was surprised to find that I actually really liked the track for the first race. I mean, I'm not going to go out and buy the soundtrack, but I enjoyed it. The rest of the tracks were okay. And now for the PlayStation version. Imagine the game that I just described to you, but with longer loading times, worse graphics, slowdown, etc., etc., and so on. And it's just not fun. Remember fun? I miss him. It feels like only yesterday.
Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the PS1 port. It's ass. It's the ass's ass. I feel genuinely bad for anyone who had to pay full price for either version. I gotta tell you guys, I had high hopes for this one. It was in my mind the most likely to be at least somewhat enjoyable, but this is the worst of all three. I was able to finish the South Park FPS twice, and Chef Don't Know Jack was short and fairly innocuous, but this... I wasn't even able to complete the thing, and I tried. Oh god, did I try.
In conclusion, none of these games really seem to get the series or its comedy. They're crass without being clever, and they act like referencing jokes from the show is enough to be funny on their own. But worst of all, they're just a chore to play.
I really do love South Park, but the series deserves better than this, and I just don't want to hurt anymore. You know what? No, I refuse to let these games win. And that's why for my next review, I intend to play a good South Park game. Yeah, we'll see who gets the last laugh, and I'll see you then.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It took a lot longer than I anticipated, and you've all been really cool and patient while I've been working on it. If you haven't already subscribed, please do that, and feel free to spread the word about my channel, because there is a lot more coming very, very soon. Thanks guys.